Hi guys, Jack here from GGRecon today, and we're at the Copper Box Arena speaking to Version1's Comm. So I guess we'll start off with how you performed so far. Talk us through your first two games. How'd they go? Who was your toughest opponent so far?
Yeah, so first two matches, first up was Endpoint, which we had watched a few of the replays going in. We weren't exactly scared of them. We knew they could maybe pop off on the day. Maybe they could be a tough opponent, but at the same time we were pretty confident going into that. We had our game plan, stuck to it, and made a relatively easy 3-0. Next up, we had Moist, who is, I think, the second seed from Europe and is generally considered to be one of the best teams in the world. However, we beat them in LA, and we kind of know how to beat them. We know how they play, and we just kind of did the same thing we did in LA and ended up taking that series in 4, I believe.
Yeah, you've definitely took the best of Europe so far. What do you think about the EU-NA rivalry so far, and obviously the rest of the world?
Yeah, I don't know if I care that much about like the rivalry between EU and NA. I would say right now NA is definitely better than EU. I think the EU teams kind of all play a very similar play style where they all just try to play like full speed. They all try to rely on being better players, having better mechanics, all the young up and comers. Whereas NA has kind of been refining their play style over the past few months, past few years. And I think the majority of NA teams tend to play like a really smart game, and EU tries to play a lot faster. And I think right now NA has the advantage.
Who has surprised you the most so far in the major?
I think K-Corp surprised me the most. I didn't expect them to take down G2. Kind of happy they did. I'd much rather play K-Corp than G2, but yeah, that definitely caught me off guard.
There's been a little of your trash talk that has gone viral. What do you make of the controversy? Is there anything that you think is true, or do you think it's all valid?
Yeah, I mean, trash talk's part of the game. It's part of competing, and all of the players, all the talent involved, everybody seems to understand that. And at the end of the day, none of it's personal. I'll still hang out with everybody from every single team. I'm gonna be good friends with them after, and it's just all to try to get a competitive edge.
There is a little bit of an art to it. What do you find is most effective when you are trash talking?
I think honestly, yelling is good because it's just kind of like annoying, but I think if you really want to get someone's head, I think standing up, I think pointing at them, I think laughing, just doing stuff that's like really irritating. I think that's kind of the art of it. What
do you make of the format so far? It's been debated that the best of two-step bracket hasn't been too good. It's obviously seeing teams from India, Singapore come over, have 2 games, and then they're out. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the format. I think I definitely prefer the group stage format and the Swiss format that came before. However, I think at the end of the day, regardless of the format, if you want to win the tournament, you have to win the matches. So some teams, say BDS, lost to teams they shouldn't have, and it's not the format's fault.
Coming up next, you're in the quarterfinals, I believe. How are you preparing for your match?
We've been doing replay reviews as we always do before our matches. We try to come up with some kind of play style. We try to learn from our opponents and try to figure them out. I think we do that better than probably any team in the world. And we also have been scrimming a ton. So we scrimmed a bunch yesterday. We're going to scrim a ton later today, and then we're just going to go in. We're going to be hot, and we're gonna try to stick to our game plan.
Version1 have brought a lot of fans down. You've obviously had your watch party where you were last night, and it seems to be quite a good vibe. How are your fans? How do you find them playing for such an established org?
I think the fans are really cool for our organization. I think they're all like extremely cool people. They're all extremely personable. I think a lot of the time in a lot of other fan bases, you'll tend to get, as they grow, you'll tend to get a lot more toxicity, a lot more of, the weirdos kind of. You look at your G2, NRG, there's some weird people out there on Twitter for those guys. But I think for the most part, I haven't really noticed that with our fans. And I really appreciate all the fans. And I think they, so far, have been all really cool to hang out with, really cool to meet.
For the last major and this major as well, how is it living with the guys on your team, Torment especially?
So we boot camped for LA, but we actually weren't able to boot camp for this event. We got here Sunday leading up to this, so we only had 2 days of scrims. We had Monday, Tuesday before we had to play our match. Unfortunately, things didn't work out. We weren't able to get out here to boot camp. I think it would have probably helped us, but at the same time, I think we've made really good use of the time that we've had, and we've been putting in a lot of work, and we're playing really well.
How about just living with your teammates? Has anyone got any weird habits?
No, not really. I think the guys are just like really fun to hang out with. It's always a good vibe, whether we're playing, whether we're just talking, hanging out, or eating somewhere. I think Fire's super funny guy, Tor's super funny guy, all super chill, Beast's funny. I mean, it's just always a really good vibe, and we never get upset at each other, and we're always having a really good time.
And just finally, ahead of your last couple of games, and hopefully you can go all the way, do you have a message for the Version 1 fans?
I mean, you saw what we did. You saw what we did the first few days, and I think we're going to be carrying that energy into the Saturday and Sunday, and I think we're probably going to take this tournament.